Hello and welcome to the place where we highlight the talented, the interesting, and the entertaining from our area. I'm Paul, along with my sidekick, Mr. Chops Turner. How you doing tonight, Chops? All right. Tonight, we have a big music show. We have a man who is fresh back from Nashville, Tennessee, Mr. Jimmy James, right over there.
Yeah!
All right, so say hello, let us know where you're watching from. We always like to do that. You know, you used to watch us in Tennessee. Imagine that. I can't believe it. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's amazing. Must have been, one of the few nights he was home. He must have put that up. Well, you want to get caught up on the news, Chops?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you do? All right, all right. There's a new store in Somerset that sells all Trump merchandise. Did you hear about this? It's a Trump store.
It's a Trump store?
We don't do politics here, but there's a Trump store over there. So a dog went in there, and people were wondering why. Well, it turns out the dog thought the sign said hump store. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He writes stuff and then apologizes for his own stuff. That's pretty bad.
Man.
Well, speaking of dogs, these are all true stories. This is the news. This is the research that we did during the week. A couple got arrested in Hopkinton, Mass. for walking their dog in the nude. Absolutely true. It turns out they had a plan. During the pandemic, one look at them and people would stay 20 feet away. It was even farther than 6 feet. You didn't have to do anything. Forget the mask. You were all set. Hey, here's something that's going to be really cool. This is really true. This is really true. There's a new movie coming out about zombies in New Bedford called Plague Zombie American Invasion. In fact, if you go to New Bedford Guide, they actually have a trailer. And you can see it right there. There's a picture from the trailer. Imagine that. All about zombies coming to New Bedford. That's going to be great. Well, you know something? I did some research on this one, too. There's a sequel coming out, The Night of the Living Charisse. and this is a real scary one. Instead of zombies looking for meat, the meat's coming after you. I mean that's what I call a horror movie. Hey, Chops, maybe it's not that bad. Well, you got to help me out. Before we get to the guest, you got to help me out, right?
Okay.
I was scrolling through, New Bedford Guide and all that, Fall River Reporter, and I came across this picture that was posted a while back. And let's go to that picture right now. And I'm wondering to myself, what exactly is going on there? Can you tell what's going on there? I can't really.
Kind of. I don't know.
Now, are those ducks or geese or what?
I don't know what they are.
I don't know, man.
I can't. I don't know. I
If
can't make it out, or they make it out.
If it's a duck, somebody's getting goose. I can tell you that. Duck, goose. Duck, goose.
Somebody's laying an egg.
Yeah, feel free to jump right in there. I need all the help I can get. Yeah, well, I guess he can write some material for me. So we'll have to work something out, Chops. We'll have to work something out. Well, don't forget the Chops Turner Show Sunday nights on the Chops Facebook page, and he plays over at Tomatoes a lot. But you got a big wedding coming up this week.
Yes, sir. This Saturday, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be nice.
Those are fun to do, huh?
Oh yeah, especially this one. You can't dance. You gotta sing all the ballads. That's right.
You gotta carry the whole thing on your back, right?
A lot of ballads. So.
Yeah, well, so do you ever keep track of you do all these weddings, how many of them were successful and how many of them didn't make it? No, just throwing it out there.
Man, get out of here, man. You know how successful it is when people don't dance or they don't clap.
Well, we're going to divorce court, but at least we had a good time with Chops. No, we wish everybody. In fact, we wish everybody nice. And by the way, in that last show, you go to after you're done with this, don't X out yet. But after you're done with this, if you go to it's Chops Turner.
Yeah, Chops Turner. I don't know how that. I got mixed up with the other Turner. I don't know how to get off. They won't let me take it off.
Well, I got to
talk to the technicians over there.
You got a double shot of Turner.
I got
a
double shot, man.
Oh, I know what that is. That's Mrs. Turner, the producer.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Turner.
My wife is driving me crazy with that. Oh.
I hear her in the background.
You hear in the background?
I think she's running the whole thing over there.
She's running the show, man.
She's running the whole thing.
I could have with the Chops Turner show.
You have to remind her who's in charge once in a while, right? Well, anyway, you did some Perry Como and you did Stevie Wonder on the same night. The versatility, right? The versatility.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, I love that.
Perry Como is one of my favorite artists. And
I love her so.
Oh, man, I love that song.
My Vavoy used to love that song.
Oh,
and I hadn't heard that song.
Loves that song.
Oh, what a heartfelt song. And then you went into Superstitious, you know. You know that whole thing? You did the whole thing with the 13 Mumble Baby. I got to take the lessons. Let's not start too soon. Well, anyway, we're going to talk a little bit later, too, about Chops. He's got that video, Enough is Enough. He actually did a radio interview. So hold that thought. Chops is going to talk about his radio interview at a great radio station out there in Las Vegas, Nevada. So Chops has got a lot of things going on. We're going to talk about that. All right. Our first guest tonight has been in Nashville, but he's here now along with a person who's going to accompany him tonight, Mr. Paul Carosa. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jimmy James. Hey, Jimmy James.
Paul.
What's happening? All right.
What up, Charlie? Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's great to have you. You know, we, as a lot of people do, they kind of meet over social media, and I saw you down there from New Bedford in Nashville having such a great time down there. And you were watching our show down there, which we appreciate.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, I could tell you were having a blast. Why did you decide to go down there?
I worked very hard last year, like recording all my original music, acoustic and stuff. And I've always been an original song guy, you know, and I just wanted to know if I had anything that could, did I have anything? I'm not talking about becoming a star or something like that, but would people dig my music? And they seemed to dig it, so it was pretty cool, man. But we met before social media.
Yeah?
Back in the 80s when I played in Glam Bands, you actually were my, appointed lawyer, and you kept me out of jail a couple times.
No,
so I thank you for that. Chops, that ain't even a lie, man.
All right, well, I'm glad.
Yeah. That's not even a lie.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
So thank you for that.
I'm glad to hear that. All right, our first song tonight.
Say so.
No, that's good. I'm glad you turned things around.
Paul's now like, you owe me like $500 for interest.
All right. Well, we're gonna talk a little bit more about your family, why you decided to come back. But you wrote a song, right? Tell me about this song you're gonna play.
This song right here. I was in Nashville, and I think the CMAs were happening the night after, and all my friends were like, why aren't you down there, like seeing everyone and all that, and blah blah. And I'm like, because I really don't like Dan and Shay. You know, I'm like an old school guy, and I wrote this song like that night, man. It just came and it's called "Give Us Back Our Country." It's about why I went down to Nashville. I wanted to find the roots. Like I told you off camera, you know, my wife and I were looking for Dunkin' Donuts in Hendersonville. We ended up standing over Johnny and June's grave. You know,
right.
And all that. I wanted to find that, man, like what country's lost. You know what I mean? And it seemed I'm just a 3-chord in the truth kind of guy.
Yeah.
I put a capo on my guitar. I don't even know what I'm playing, man. It's still a G, C, D to me.
You got to feel it.
I got a feeling. You know, I can take an emotion and put a melody to it and write it like that. And it seems like it's country music, especially, has kind of lost that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
all right. Well, for our first song tonight, it is called "Give Us Back Our Country." It is an original song by Mr. Jimmy James. Here we go, along with Paul Carosa.
God bless Willie Whalen, Hank Chris, George Jones. Give us back our country music, leave our shit alone. Something happened, man, true country turned to pop. I'm begging you on Johnny's grave, please make this madness stop. Now give us back our country. Dixon line, chose a 615. Had to see it for myself, was country still alive? What once was built on risque, Rico and the truth. Traded off integrity for pretty Ford and smooth. Where have all the cowboys gone? We need another country song. God bless Willie Whalen, Hank Chris, Jones. Give us back our country music, leave our shit alone. Something happened, man, the country turned off. I'm begging you on Johnny's grave, make this madness stop. Now give us back our country. West Virginia to the Carolina shores, Mississippi, Alabama, gonna sick them Georgia dogs. Kentucky, Louisiana, and Byron in between, gonna bring back country music straight into Tennessee. Where all the cowboys gone, we need another country song. God bless Willie Wayne, Hank Chrysanthemum Jones, give us back our country music, leave us short alone. Something happened, man, to country turned off. I'm begging you on Jones, baby, make this man stop. Now give us back our country. Willie Whalen, Hank Sandra Jones, give us back our country music, leave our shit alone. Something happened, man, true country turned to pop. I'm begging you on Johnny's grave to make this madness stop. God bless Willie Whalen, Hank Sandra Jones, give us back our country music, leave our shit alone. Something happened, man, true country turned to pop. I'm begging you on Johnny's grave. Now give us back our country. Now give us back our country. Now give us back our country.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, guys.
James, along with Paul Carosa. Give us back our country. Hey, that was great. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Really, really nice. Really.
I have no idea where I'm supposed to look.
You can look at me. You can look at Paul.
I'm like-
you can look at Chops.
I'm looking at the microphone. Like, hey.
Yeah, don't look at the mic.
Hey, you know, I'm looking at that guitar, and you got all kinds of signatures on there. How'd you pull that off?
Before my date to move back to Massachusetts, they had a couple farewell parties for me with a bunch of different
Nice.
musicians and friends and all that. And I asked them all, I'm like, can you please sign this guitar, because that'll be me taking a piece of you back with me. And there's so many awesome friends and people who played with the best of the best on this guitar. And the spirit of Nashville is like right here and all these signatures and stuff. And I was really blessed down there, man.
Yeah, you were able to meet a lot of interesting and well-known people, right?
It was crazy. Before I moved to Nashville, I used to tell everyone, I write my music like Dewey Cox from the movie. That I see things and I write about it. Even now, like my wife will say something. She said something like really serious the other day. I'm like thinking to myself as she's still talking, like, damn, that's a good title for a song, you know? But so the week, it was the Friday before I moved down there, I put up a movie poster, said, yep, I'm heading to Nashville. Don't expect too much because I write my music like Dewey Cox. So Billy Lubin takes me into Carter's Vintage Guitars, my first week there. We're walking down the stairs, and I stop. I'm like, Billy, it's Dewey Cox. And there he was, man. So I managed to get in the same aisle as John C. Reilly was. And you got Carter's Vintage Guitars are like $30,000, $50,000 guitars. So I'm thinking, like, please don't trip and, like, hit anything. So we locked eyes, and so Mr. Reilly, how are you, sir? And he, with a big smile, he's like, good, how are you? And I could tell he was approachable. I told him, look, man, I just got off a plane a week ago and I write my music. And he got a big kick out of it, and it was amazing. And when I think about it, like in Nashville, I could have met Brad Paisley, Carrie, anyone. It was John C. Reilly. He was in town the night before for like an Americana Music Awards. But I look at all this stuff, man, like that ain't by chance, man. You know?
Yeah, right. And you even told me how I'm a hockey fan, right? And I'm also a fan of Carrie Underwood.
Yeah.
You ran into Mike Fisher, her husband, right?
Mike Fisher, the first time I met Mike was, my wife was a waitress at Puckett Sleepers Pork. She'd start at 3, so I'd go there early. Open mic didn't start till 6:30, but I'd go hang out. And so I see my wife putting a little boy up on a stool with his ice cream with the dad there, and like my wife just walks by, and I'm like, do you know who that is? I'm like, you just put Carrie Underwood's son up on a stool. I'm like, that's Mike Fisher, her husband.
Oh,
and,
wow, that's great.
We talked, and I told him, you know, I was from the Northeast, and I played hockey. I said, didn't get past high school, but I gave him my T-shirt, Jimmy James Nashville. I thought it would go in his trunk, he'd change his oil with it. He'd leave it on the counter, Carrie would be like, who's this guy? Dust the furniture. And after the tornado, my friend Mark put together tornado relief fund videos with different stars, like, you know, saying, hello, this is so-and-so, this is Paul Santos, you know, it's like, my friend Mark and his wife Cynthia, hey guys, if you're watching, they're texting me like, you gotta call us, you gotta call us. I'm thinking someone died. Who died? And like, dude, Mike Fisher wore your T-shirt in the tornado relief fund video. And,
wow, that's great.
I saw him again after that. He was sitting with all his friends, and I didn't know, how he's going to react. And when I go back up, so I was kind of nervous, And so I walk over, I'm like, "Excuse me, Mike." He's like, "Yeah, I've been rocking your shirt, man." And it's just the kind of people they are down there.
Yeah, you told me before we went on, nice people behind the scenes. A lot of folks,
Yeah.
a lot of these big stars. They're just people like we
They're
are.
people.
A lot of them.
It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
I thank God for people like Noah Henson and his wife Lindsay Henson. Noah, I've been following. He played in a heavy metal band called Pillar, Christian metal band. Total fan of his, and we became friends through social media a couple years ago. And him and his wife helped me and my wife along in Nashville in so many ways. And they're amazing people. And the last night that I was leaving, no one really surprised me, man. I was hanging outside of Puckett's, and I see him coming through the crowd with these big dreadlocks, and I'm like, wow, man. They hung out for like 3 hours, but Noah's friends came, and they lived there, and they said, like, Leapersburg, they have a saying where everybody's somebody and no one gives a shit.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And
That's
it's
a good
great.
way to look at it. Yeah,
I'd be sitting there on
absolutely right.
Thursday afternoons, and Scott Hamilton would come in every Thursday to like get water on his way to his kids' hockey practice.
Yeah, isn't that
And
right?
the first time you meet these people, like Mike Wolf, like from I binge watch American Pickers.
Yeah, yeah.
You meet them once, you can tell like who wants to take a picture, who don't. Like Johnny Galecki's like picture time.
Yeah, right.
He's super funny, man. The first time I met Johnny Galecki, I was saying goodbye. I had my bass case. He's like, "Is that yours?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll be your roadie." He grabbed me. He's like, "I'm stealing this shit." And he started running out with it. And I'm like, "I've been watching you since you were Rusty and David on road." But they're really sweet, kind people,
Yeah,
man.
good hearts.
Good hearts.
Well, that's great.
One of the biggest things, I was playing bass in the William Blake band. And Blake, you're watching. I love you. Thank you. You were amazing. And we were playing one night, and Amber Eyes, Jillian Jensen. We set her up with a gig. They headlined and opened up for the Blake band. They came down from Boston. So
yeah, we've had her on.
Yeah, that night, my wife's waitressing. She's like, she's trying to tell me something. Like, I can't hear you. Get done with the song. She's like, Bill Belichick just walked in. My heart stopped.
Oh,
so here we
wow.
are. The lights, I'm trying to see. I'm trying to act extra cool. Chops, you know what I mean? Like, let me get this cool stage. And so at the end of the set, I went over and got a chance to talk to a man who I've watched on TV for so many years, watched me.
Yeah,
and that just blew my mind. And to have Amber Eyes the funny thing with Bill though, I was like, man, if he would get a picture, and in his Bill voice, he's like, "Yeah, I'll have to pass on that, but thank you." But he remembered my name on the way out, man.
Yeah,
and that blew my
right?
mind. I was like, "Nice
Okay.
meeting you, Coach." He's like, "Nice meeting you too, Jimmy." And his girl said, "I wish you luck on your career." And on the way out, he looked at Amber Eyes, was like, "Boston," and he smiled. He does smile.
Yeah,
And he had a sense of humor. He was like, "Boston,"
So, Paul, what about you now? I see you sitting there. You're accompanying Jimmy over here. You play in a local band, and you're a musician in your own right.
Yeah, I'm a rhythm guitarist for Monster Country Rock.
Yeah.
And been playing there for like almost 2 years now.
Good for
So
you.
I've had my original band before, and things didn't work out, so I had to go to a different venue. And I went that way, you know what I mean? It's just, I think it was just because of work-wise and stuff like that. But my buddy Rick hit me up. He's like, "Hey, you want to play rhythm for us?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
I'm more of a rhythm guy. I don't do like those crazy chops. You know what I mean? I'm the more,
Well, this guy right here, you guys met through social media too, right?
yeah, because
it's amazing
it was
how
crazy.
that happens.
Like all of a sudden, I met him. I don't even know how it started. It was just out of the blue, and I was like, "Who's this Jimmy James guys?" And I messaged him, and then we went back and forth. He's like, "Oh, dude, I love Brantley Gilbert." And then we started, and he's like, "Dude, you know Noah Henson?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? That's like my inspiration." And because I've watched him in Pillar and Brantley Gilbert. Because he shocked me when I first seen Brantley Gilbert on stage. I was like, "Dude, that's Noah Henson. What is he doing there?" You know what I mean?
doing there?
He's playing country. He's playing country. But then when I heard the first like chord and him playing, I was like, "Wow, that's awesome." Because I felt like that's what country needed, was like that the balls back.
Right.
When I seen them play, I was like, "Oh man, this is awesome." You
That's
know
a
what I
good
mean?
question. Who is this Jimmy James guy? Well, we're learning about him tonight, that's for sure.
But then like we just talked to when he was all in Nashville. Like the thing that happened was like we were talking, and all of a sudden like he started to transition to go to Nashville, and so we just kept talking back and forth. We kept in touch. All the crazy nights, like we were saying, he met all these guys. He would like message me, like, "Dude, you can't believe this!" Like, "Oh my god," he's like freaking out.
Lots of
like,
excitement.
Like,
All right.
I just kept encouraging him though. Just keep going and keep going. Like, just you gotta keep
Gotta
going.
just keep on going and,
I mean, I
try
had
to
an
have
army
fun.
that helped me get there. You know what I mean? It's like it just all came about a Craigslist ad in Nashville. Billy Lubin and Henry James Frame III. We call him Jim because that's just a long ass name. they changed my life, man. And my wife, when Billy answered my ad, I guess they were sitting in Jim's driveway one night, and they went through Craigslist, and they saw me and listened to me. And Billy's like, now Billy Lubin comes from the Lubin brother family, Country Music Hall of Fame. His mom, Kathy Lubin, Martina McBride songwriter. She had #2 with Confederate Railroad and but they're Nashvillians. They're born and raised. Billy's like, he don't look like no one here. He don't sound like no one here. And he sent me an email. I said, dude, we dig your shit, man. Can you come down? And I was like, that's my guy. Because the other emails I'd get was like, well, how many years do you have of this? And what kind of gear do you... No, he's like, we dig your shit. And
yeah. What a great compliment that
We didn't have much money in the bank. And I told my wife, man, someone actually wants me to go to Nashville. And she's like, you're going to go. And let me get up. But she left $17 in the bank account and bought me a one-way plane ticket to Nashville. And it changed my life.
Yeah, good for you, man. We're really happy for you.
So many friends did fundraisers, PayPal, and they got me there. And that's why I always say I love all y'all. Like, so many people, whatever I did down there, and it's not over yet, they have a piece of this, man, a part of it, in so many more ways than one, you know?
Well, as I said before, every time I saw your Facebook page and I would kind of follow you and what you were doing and so forth, I was thinking to myself, this guy is having a great time and a blast, and I could tell a passion was being met, and that's what you got to do. You got to do that when, you know,
I mean, everything
we're only here
happened to
for
me-
a short time. We got to go after what we want to go after, you know.
Everything happened to me not planning or knowing. I just went, like,
Just go, man.
the Tuesday night at Kimbrell's, I meet William Blake. I have the necklaces on now from the fuselage from the Leonard Skinner crash.
No,
This pic,
Oh my gosh, is
this
that
pic
right?
was that's Heather Langley made this. It says Freebird, but the pic I have was just a piece of the fuselage. My son cut them into guitar picks. There it is.
Wow.
And I
isn't
told
that
the
something?
story at Kimbrell's. I said, you know,
Holy smokes.
Dwayne Easley sent me this piece of the fuselage. My son made it. I wrote the song about Ronnie Van Zant, Jim Morrison, Johnny Cash. Here it is. I hit the note, and the PA system died. It went out. You heard Blake, what the F? And another lady said, there's a ghost in the house. So Thursday, I meet Blake for the second time at Puckett's now for open mic. And he says, I'm going to Gillsburg, Mississippi this weekend. Let me see if you can go down. And he asked Heather Langley. Next thing, Friday morning, I'm getting a text, pack your bags, we're going to Gillsburg for the unveiling of the Leonard Skinner Memorial. We were there for the whole weekend, playing Simple Man, 400 yards from the plane wreck. Mike Rounsfield, Dwayne, I got to meet Dwayne Easley in person and thank him. And my wife said that piece of metal he sent you went totally, it took me right back. But
Yeah,
we got
no.
to walk through the woods to Ground Zero. I had my Jimmy James pick that I got to bury at the cross, and I'll never find that spot again. But it's just, everything happened. It was just amazing. Like,
Absolutely.
even coming back home, and I guess we'll talk about that after, but
Yeah, we want to get to your second song.
All right.
I know you guys prepared a great classic from Georgia Satellite. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep your hands to yourself. Here's Jimmy James and Paul. Let's do it.
he called it great, so we can't mess this up.
Totally improvise, right?
And I'm going to improvise a solo, so. Got a little change in my pocket going jing-a-lang-a-lang. Gonna call you on that telephone, baby, give you a ring. But it's time that I talk, get the same old thing. Always no huggy, no kissy till I get that wedding ring. My honey, my baby, don't put my love on no shelf. She said, don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Put your hands to yourself. But baby, 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 why you treat me this way? You know I'm still your old lover boy, still feel the same way. That's when she told me a story about free milk and a cow. She said no huggy, no kissy till I get that wedding vow. My honey, my baby, don't put my love on no shelf. She said don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
I wanted her real bad, and I was about to give in. That's when she started talking about true love, talking about sin. I said, honey, I'll stay with you for the rest of my life. She said, no huggy, no kissy till you make me your wife. My honey, my baby, don't put my love on no shelf. She said, don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. How do we end it?
I don't know. Any way you want to.
Go to a commercial. All right.
Yeah, how about that? Jimmy James and Paul Caruso. Yeah.
You ain't taking the big ending away from me, man.
No, we gotta have
Keep
some
your
fun
hands
with
to
live music.
yourself. That's
Yeah.
right. Hey, you know, somebody typed in, you guys are badasses.
Thank you so much.
At first, I was hoping it was me and Chops, but it was you guys that were the badasses.
Thank you all, man.
Let's see. Kim Bosey, Beth saying hello tonight, Brendan Manning, Noah Henson.
He's on. No.
Yeah, look at you, bro. Yeah, that's right. All right. And Lisa saying hello tonight. So tell me about your future plans now.
My future plans is, well, if I can just rewind a little, it's like everything was going 100 miles an hour up until the pandemic. I mean, this is when, God, I was meeting so many people and playing, and I was just moving. All of a sudden, it just stopped. And didn't know where to go from there, you know? And so we got jobs working for Amazon, which I'm so thankful. Keith, my boss, if you're watching, I love you and thank you so much. And that was another great thing about Nashville, like working for Amazon. You know, I got to know that area, which made it really feel like a second home. Like I can drive through Nashville, Gallatin. That was great. But I started drinking a lot, man. I was really depressed. Like I worked so hard to get to where I was at. All my family and friends were back home, and you know, it was hard. And so yeah, I really started drinking. I pushed everyone away, including my wife. You know, I almost lost my marriage. I pushed her all the way back to Massachusetts at the beginning of, or it was April, the end of April, and I would drink. God, if you want to be an alcoholic, move to Nashville. You can buy beer till 3 a.m. in the stores down there. So yeah, you can.
Right.
I'd start out, they sell the Miller Tall Boys 3-packs. I'm just going to have these three. The next thing you know, I'd be drinking three of those 3-packs and more, probably like 20 beers a night. And I didn't want to live, man. And I'd be driving from West Nashville to East Nashville, like going from here to Fall River, drunk. You know, and I couldn't keep going the way I was going, man. And I had to make a choice. You know, I would sit in this beautiful empty apartment in West Nashville in Bellevue, and alone. I never felt so alone in my life. And
See that you had a beautiful apartment, which is a material thing.
Yeah.
And without people that care about you, and without people close to you, it doesn't mean anything.
you have nothing.
Doesn't mean anything.
You know, and so I made the choice, and my son flew down June 28th, and thank God I was able to take him to Puckett's that Thursday night and take him to Broadway on the 29th, and the mayor closed it down a week later, so Brandon wouldn't have got to see none of that. And I love you, Brandon. Thank you for driving your old man all the way back home. But
Well, we're glad to have you here in New Bedford. I can tell you that right
I
now.
appreciate that. Yeah, once I got home, and the first couple days, Chops, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, what the hell am I doing back here, man?
Good thing you didn't come in February.
You know, but no, it's like when you start seeing familiar faces, and you got your family, and I see my daughter now every Sunday and all that.
Right, you have a son and a daughter, right?
I have two boys and my 13-year-old daughter. Yeah, and I didn't see her for those whole 10 months, and that was hard as hell. But when I was playing, it felt like at least I was moving forward towards it, if that makes any sense. And but no, when I came back, everything started to fall into place, and I'm whole again. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it feels good. There's no ocean in Tennessee, Charles. You know that, right?
Yeah, we take that for granted.
I dove.
Yeah,
I
right.
dove into Fort Phoenix water. I was like, hallelujah. But so when I got back home, I got all these songs, and I know it's not over yet, But my first thing was like, being a good husband, being a dad, providing all that, and everything else will fall into place. And so I don't want to throw names out. I've been throwing names all night, but I reached out to a couple guys around here that you all know in this city, and asked one of them, would you sing my songs? And he says, of course I would. And I asked his guitar player, and he says, hell yeah. So I'm going to step back and play bass because I love playing the bass. And and this guy's way better looking. Like I told Charles, man, no one wants to see no bucktooth singer down in Tennessee. It's like, this ain't 1948 where you can get away with that. Because there is still some kind of materialistic thing. And this guy's got that look. So, but no, I love playing bass. I love... Nikki Sixx has always been my idol, man. It's like I love hanging that Thunderbird low and just
Right.
So this guy, we're gonna get together, and the plan is to record a single, shoot a video, and just put it out there and see
Yeah,
what
that would
happens.
be great. Well, you know what? We'd love to have you come back down the road, and Paul too. You're welcome to come back anytime. We'll pick up where we left off. I mean, you guys have been terrific guests here tonight.
Thank you so much.
So we really appreciate you coming by.
Appreciate that. Thank
All
you.
right, Jimmy James and Paul Carozzo on our show
Good job,
tonight.
brother. Thank you.
Well, Chops did a video collaboration with a group called Trifecta, three other singers out of New York City, called Enough is Enough, Black Lives Matter. It's on YouTube. So if you type in Chops Turner, Enough is Enough, or Trifecta, it comes right up. And I know you've been having some good success with that. As a matter of fact, you guys got interviewed on a Las Vegas radio station today. How did that go?
It went great. It went really great.
Yeah.
Q did most of the talking. I was just listening to him, man. He's very well-spoken and talked about the history, and the future of this whole song. So I'm looking forward to the success of this song. I think it's going to really do really well.
Yeah, good for you. And I know that day you went down to New York City. You guys filmed it right there in the Big Apple. That's great.
Yeah, it was great, man. I thought it was great. And the hustle bustle was a thing. I mean, you didn't see many people on the street, so we were able to record and have some fun with the people, too, as they were walking by watching the video.
You look good, too. You had a little swag going on. You know that?
Hey, well,
that just comes natural.
Yeah. Well, you work at that, man. I mean, all these things
seriously.
Worked at, for over my career years, over the years. So.
Well, when I see you entertainers come in, Mike Kudo actually told me this. You can be the greatest singer in the world, but if you have no ability to entertain in between the songs,
he's right.
Forget it. You have to be able to. And the last time I saw you were great. You and Colleen. I mean, joking around in between, and just we were having dinner, and we just had a great time because of the way you entertain in between the songs. So I know you've been working at that for a couple of years.
But I watch a lot of the great entertainers. How you, in order to be great, you watch other people who's been there before you.
Yeah, right.
Like the Nat King Coles, the Sinatra, the Perry Como, Henry Mancini, Little Richard, Sam Cooke, the list goes on, B.B. King,
Hey, by the way, you got a really nice necklace on there tonight. It's pretty sharp.
Wife, man. Thanks to my wife, man.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, wife.
Was that for the anniversary?
Yeah, I think she gave me this, man. I guess to butter me up a little bit.
I got to tell you, that's a really nice
so I can keep on the show.
That's a really nice looking necklace there.
Thank you. I can keep on the show a little
That must be love,
That must be love.
Yeah, it must be love. That's a song, isn't it? Must be love. All right, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank our guests, Jimmy James and Paul Rocco.
They were great, man. They were great.
Hey, man, they were absolutely
great.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, Bay Coast, Duso, and Zader. And we're going to hear from them one more time on the way out. We also like to thank our producer, directors, Josh Schuza and Justin Pereira. Can't do anything without them. And the sidekick of the century, Mr. Chops Turner. Don't forget, Chops Turner Show, Sunday night on the Chops Turner channel. And that lady in the background, she's running the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, my wife,
she's running the whole thing.
She takes it over, man.
Next week, a big show. Musician Pat Loomis and also the Rude Boys make their return. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great night, everybody.